community advocate, I will also discuss important social issues that affect our city. I plan to showcase organizations and heroes who are doing amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
This is a production for the voice of San Joaquin.
Porque nos vamos a enlazar
con el mero, el gallo de Zacatecas.
That's right, homeboy.
el de Poyá.
You got it, homeboy. Ahí les voy.
Dicen que soy poderoso, yo solo soy su amigo. No hace falta averiguar, saben a qué me dedico. Me gusta vivir muy bien, aunque me siga el peligro.
Nosotros somos los Tucanes de Tijuana y nos vamos directamente. Adelante, échale, primo.
Hay que hacer ruido para que se mire la polvadera. Ahí le va. Mi gente le gusta la neta. Escuche en su carro, en su avioneta. Si prefiere mejor en bicicleta o en casa de su suegra Petra. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Para que se mire la polvadera. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Es la neta. Una producción del DJ Mix para el nuevo Imperio Enterprises. Radializando. Sin pelos en la lengua.
For more information on the Voice of San Joaquin, go to tvosj.org.
Good morning, San Joaquin, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tales and Tips. I am so honored to have with me my good friend Carol Richardson, who is the CEO of the Stockton branch of Directions Medical Clinic. Welcome. And we also want to give a shout out to Paula Leary, who is the CEO of the entire organization.
Right.
Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. It's great to be here, Jolie.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you. And I'm so excited to hear all of the new and wonderful things that are going on. And we should backtrack because this is your third appearance on my show.
I feel so popular.
I feel so honored that you wanted to come back 3 times. So originally, when you were here, you were working for an organization called the Pregnancy Help Center, which has now merged with an organization in Lodi. And together, you are the Lodi and Stockton Directions Medical Clinic.
That's right. And we rebranded to be Directions Medical Clinic. So there are 2 offices now, one in Lodi and one in Stockton. And Paula is the CEO of the entire organization, and I'm the executive director down here in Stockton.
Wonderful. Awesome. And you have wonderful, exciting events coming up. Let's talk about what your organization does, why it's so important, and who you're serving in the community of Stockton.
Well, our organization is there to help women who are experiencing an unplanned pregnancy. And what we do is we do pregnancy testing, we do sonograms, and we do parenting classes. We help them with all their options. We help them understand what those options mean, and we help them make that decision. And of course, they have free will to do whatever it is they want. They can parent, they can have an abortion, or they can give the child up for adoption. And no matter what they decide, we're going to be there for them. We're going to show that we care for them. If they have an abortion, we're there for post-abortion care, for emotional issues. We are also a faith-based organization. We're a nonprofit, and we have just various referrals that we can give them if they're, no matter what they decide to do. We have referrals. We do not refer for abortion, nor do we recommend it. However, because we have free will and it is the law of the land, they can make that choice. So,
and talk about ultrasound. Why is the sonogram so important, and what does that do to help the mom and help the baby?
Well, first of all, you have to know whether you have a viable pregnancy or not. 20% of all pregnancies end in a spontaneous miscarriage. So
wow, that's a high percentage. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. And so why would you go further if you don't have a viable pregnancy? First, you get the pregnancy test and you find out if you're definitely or not pregnant. And then the sonogram determines whether you have that viable pregnancy and how far along you are, which you would need to know no matter what you decide to do. If you are, how far along you are, no matter, it determines what type of abortion you would get. And also if you need to go get, if you're pregnant and you know how far along you are, you go to the doctors and you get that parenting care, prenatal care, and then you'd have a due date. So that would be the reason why you need to do that. Sometimes you don't have a viable pregnancy and you're pregnant. It could be an ectopic. And so then you would need a different kind of care. So.
And that ultrasound also lets you see the sex of your child at a certain age?
Well, we don't do ultrasounds past, I believe it's 16 weeks, 16 to 18. But you would hear the heartbeat at as little as 5 weeks. And of course, later on, they would find out the sex, but we don't do that at the pregnancy. Not yet, anyways. Someday.
Someday.
Well, yeah, we hope to expand our services, and we are looking to move from the building we're in right now and have, right now we're only able to give medical services 1 day a week, and we're moving and expanding in July to 2 days a week.
In July, awesome. Okay.
That is the plan. And then we're hoping to find a building. We actually have a building picked out and move into it and be medical in the actual building, because medical services right now can only happen through the medical mobile unit, which is licensed. So.
And you said that you plan to be functioning 2 days a week. What would it take for you to be functioning 5 days a week or 7 days a week?
It takes money. We are a faith-based nonprofit, and so the way we exist is through donations. Churches, individual donors, wonderful people who have been supporting us for years. And of course, being the executive director of the Directions Medical Clinic, my main job is to get out and promote the center and to raise money. So we have fundraisers. We have 3 major fundraisers during the year. In Stockton here, we have not had a lot of fundraisers because it was not medical and it was having, issues. So they were working on getting their license. But now we've launched the fundraisers here also with the help of everyone in the office, in the administration office. And we just did a large fundraiser in October, which did really well. We had Abby Johnson come and speak. She spoke in Lodi at theirs, and then she spoke down here in Stockton, and
awesome.
She was a huge hit. And now we're having our Walk for Life this coming Saturday.
Awesome.
So we're really geared up for that.
Where is that? When is it on Saturday? And how do you sign up? And is there a fee?
There is no fee. What we have asked, and we have gone out to the churches, and I apologize to any churches that might hear about this and I haven't gotten to you, but I'm only one person at this point. Next year, I'll get to all the churches. I'll have all year. But what we are doing is it's on our website. And
what's your website?
That www.dmcforwomen. That's FORWOMEN.org. And you can sign up, and it is at Atherton Park, Warren Atherton Park. It's right next to Quail Baptist Church, and it's going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning from 8 to 11. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have face painting and a balloon. The balloon hats, and we have a gentleman coming that makes all kinds of really cool balloon designs. Yeah, he did heart for Paula at the walk up in Lodi. They had their walk. We had the walk up in Lodi April 27th, and it was really at Hutchinson Park.
Hutchin Street Square.
Hutchin Street
Square.
Awesome. Yeah, and so its registration is between 8 and 9, and you can just come. And if you haven't signed up for it, a lot of people are taking pledge cards out, and they have people pledge to support them in the walk. But if you haven't done that, you can just show up. And if you'd like to make a donation and walk in the walk and enjoy the food, the Stockton Host Lions, of which Julie is the current president.
And you're a member.
Yes, I am. And they are coming, and they're cooking breakfast burritos. And we have a bunch of ladies in different churches giving us different pastries and food. And I believe we're going to have coffee from Starbucks, I'm hoping. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a lot of fun. Awesome. And then after the walk, it's a very, it's a very leisurely walk. And if you can't walk, you can just sit around at the tables and chat.
How far is the walk?
It's like 1.7, 1.9 miles, and it's right around, really nice, right around Quail Lakes in the neighborhoods there. The ladies mapped it out the other night, and it's just a nice leisurely walk. And then when you come back, I have 5 pastors from local churches who are going to run in what they call the Baby Buggy Blitz.
Oh, cute.
And I believe I've got a coup here. I believe, the first woman pastor running. So we have Pastor Grant Hawes from Quail Lakes Church. He's going to be in the Baby Buggy Blitz. And we have Derek Metro from First Baptist Church. And Renee Bennett, she is with Stockton First Nazarene Church here. It's at Brookside School. There's a nice little church. I was just there Sunday. They're lovely. And she's going to be in the... Carlos Molinas, he has a church. He pastors a church in La Mirada called Iglesia Bautista de la Mirada.
Wow,
that's
beautiful.
A mouthful. And last but
job,
not
Carol.
least, Father John Peter from St. Bernadette's. I saw him at the Ladies Guild the other day. Bunch of wonderful ladies over there at St. Bernadette's at the Ladies Guild. They had a lovely Mother's Day brunch, and he agreed to be in the bottle.
Yay.
Yeah, he's
Wonderful.
a great guy. So it's wonderful. They're going to all have T-shirts, and
Great.
If you belong to one of those churches, and even if you don't, you need to come out and watch this. It is hysterical. You will laugh. The pastors all have a baby, an umbrella stroller, and they put a plastic baby in there, and then they say go, and they run to stations, and they have to change diapers, and they have to do things like mix a bottle, and we put like chocolate and peanut butter in the baby's it's hysterical. And they have to change the baby and burp the baby and go through an obstacle course. But it's just a funny thing, and It's all in good fun, and it's all
Wonderful.
to raise money for us to be able to move forward and have more medical days
And help more people.
So it's all for a really good cause.
That's awesome. And now that you have the medical, and I know you're planning to move forward and have 2 days a week, do you have a sense or a capacity at 2 days a week of how many women you'll be able to help?
Well, I know that often women are coming to our clinic on the days we're not medical. We're only open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We need to be open 5 days. And I have outside the doors a plastic container where you can pull our material out. Because if they come on Monday and Tuesday and we're closed, we constantly have to replenish that. So there are a lot of women
using those resources when you're not there.
Absolutely. And if they come on the days we're not medical, and we're there Thursday and Friday, we still have a conversation with them, and we can refer them up to Lodi, or we can call Lodi and we can refer them to go up there if they really want to be seen immediately. And then we can book them for an appointment on Wednesdays in Stockton. So we're able to help them. We're able to be there to talk to them. And often that's, what they need. They need to talk to somebody right away.
Wonderful. What about a phone line, and how can they call you?
Oh, yes. If you call Stockton when we're closed, the phones roll over to the administrative office where they are medical Monday through Thursday.
Great.
So they have a full medical capacity up there except for on Fridays.
Great.
And we are, looking to do the same thing down here.
Wonderful.
And I know that when we started talking about doing this, the pregnancy center in Lodi and Stockton, there was this sense that Stockton really needs this so badly. It's right on the same road as Planned Parenthood, so there's a lot of traffic there, a lot of women coming and going for various reasons having to do with reproductive health. And so there we are right there. And the plan is to move into a larger building, actually somewhat closer to Planned Parenthood, within a very visual, so that everyone would have that choice to be able to go to a life-affirming medical clinic. Yes, but we don't tell them what to do. That is their decision.
Well, and you're supportive no matter what someone decides, which to me is important, because if someone's in crisis, support is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And for our listeners that might be more familiar with Lodi, where is the other facility located?
On Pine Street.
Okay.
It's right on Pine Street, and it's right off I-5. and they have Monday through Thursday they have their medical days. And of course, we also have parenting classes, and we do workshops. We've started doing a lot of workshops, car seat workshops, and we're starting down here men's to help the men.
Great. I was just going to ask you if these classes are all geared for women or if you have classes and education for men as well.
Yes, we have a wonderful volunteer who's come on. I'm going to shout out to Jack. He's a Quail. He goes to Quail, and he drives our medical mobile unit primarily. And he has just come on board in such a huge way. He's doing all the work to have like men's classes, whatever. The program we have that has been what the Lodi office uses is about a 3-year program, but it would be the same, I think, for the men, where they would discuss what is it they felt they needed, as far as whatever, parenting or whatever happened, what kind of emotional support do they need, and then they would pick and choose those modules to decide what type of help they could get.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's videos available that are educational that they can watch.
Yes, there's different modules and there's videos, and it's everything to do with pregnancy, what your body's going through, what your wife's or significant other's body is going through, all the way to how to take care of your finances and making good financial choices and good sexual health choices and everything from soup to nuts, taking care of the baby. It's a large, there's a lot to know when you become a parent, or if you go through something else, as in the other two choices, abortion and adoption. There's a lot of emotional things that go on, so we try to address the whole person.
Awesome. And you talked about earlier that your funding is all community based. Do you have any sponsors that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I have quite a few sponsors that are really wonderful and have come on board sponsoring the walk. And I don't have them all listed here, but right up and down the Miracle Mile, we've got a lot of the businesses. Saigon is a wonderful supporter. Gian's, Gian, is that I'm saying it right? The Italian place down here, the lunch place.
Okay.
Gian's, and Green Nutrition.
Yes, they're right across the street.
La Palma.
Awesome.
Baskin Robbins.
Great.
And we also have sponsors, like a lot of the churches have sponsored. Quail has sponsored. Gospel Center Rescue Mission has sponsored us. He
awesome.
always steps up. We have, it's off the top of my head here. I have a list of them. One of my board members, she supported Robin and Scott McEwen.
Yay.
I called her the other day, and she stepped right up and supported. I feel like I'm leaving a bunch of people out, and I feel terrible about it, but I can't think of them. I should have brought a list.
That means you have a lot of sponsors. You didn't know I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, so. Carol Billiet,
we can just thank them all as
yes,
a group because they're all very important.
There's a trust, a family foundation, the Bilieski Foundation, and she's a wonderful supporter and always has been. And it's just been wonderful. I haven't had too many people turn me down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And I know you mentioned the speaker coming out, and you had a breakfast last year as well, which was phenomenal. And I was so proud of you. That whole room was just filled with people. And I know you got lots of donations, and the Lions came out and cooked for you and helped and supported you.
Absolutely.
And we're always available to help you. And I'm glad that we're going to be there at the walk. But it's really exciting to see how you have blossomed in this position. And I know it wasn't something necessarily that you had planned, that you were going to take this position, but you're so perfect for it. And you've had so many obstacles. You had to reformulate your board, and then you had changes, and you're going to move your location, and you're merging with another organization to be stronger and to be able to help more people. And it's just phenomenal, the strides that you've made in the short amount of time that you've been there.
It's kind of been an uphill battle, but there's been so much support here in Stockton and in Lodi. And I remember when I approached my supporters, which are a couple of very big churches, they were all for it. They were like, as long as we're getting the women and the men the help that they need, as long as the mission is continued. And that's the thing. In order to move that mission from A to B to C to D, you just have to keep working at it. Mm-hmm. And we are doing another breakfast, and that will be in November. And the person that we're getting, and I thought I had her name in here, the woman who played the part of Abby Johnson in the movie.
Oh, awesome.
And I wrote it in here in one of my notes, but I only have 100 notes here. So I can't find it. But she is going to be speaking at our... At
the breakfast?
Breakfast, yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah. So I don't know who has seen the movie Unplanned, but it's created a huge ripple. And there's a new book that just came out that somebody just sent me, and I'm going to, tonight, it's on, there's a webinar where they're interviewing 4 women who worked in, other women like Abby Johnson, who worked in Planned Parenthood, discussing the industry of abortion and how it, really is an industry. They're not making money unless they're doing abortions. So it's an industry, and just the truth about it. So people understand, it just like anything else.
You can't make an informed decision without having information.
That's right. So I'm going to check that webinar out tonight because I need to know more about, everything that has to do with this organization.
And one thing that you've expressed to me as a friend, and again, I'm just so proud of you, is going to all the churches and speaking and planning for that and the nerves that come with it. Do you want to talk about that, what that's been like, and how that has helped you to build a relationship with the different churches and the people that attend those churches?
Well, it's funny when you speak in public, everybody, I don't know anybody that says, I just love doing that and I'm not nervous at all. So I'll never forget the first time I spoke. I was only in the job for 2 weeks, maybe 3. And Quail had their bottle drive, their big bottle drive, which is another big fundraiser we have. I have bottle drives all year. There's a focus around the 20th of January for bottle drives because that commemorates the Roe versus Wade decision that made abortion legal. So speaking at Quail that first time I was pretty nervous, but it's gotten a lot better and I've done it a lot more. I spoke at a little home church last week, which was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Lovely home church here in Stockton and right in somebody's home.
Wow.
And then I just last week spoke at Renee Bennett's, who's going to be she's a chaplain for the police. She took chaplaincy classes with Wayne Richardson from the Gospel Rescue Mission, who happens to be my husband. And so I met her through that, and her heart
recently graduated. You posted pictures.
And her heart is very much pro-life and wanting to get involved. So I spoke at her church just this past Sunday. So I miss my home church, First Baptist Church. I'm always out speaking at other churches. That's the downside. I can listen to my pastor online, but I miss my home church. But the upside is that a lot of churches are very positive about it and very welcoming. And I need to get out and speak at more churches. I need to get out to the churches that really don't know about us. I know that there's a bunch of churches out there that I haven't had any contact with, only because of time.
And there's a lot of churches throughout Stockton and beyond.
Yes. We just also got a church. I just remembered Bishop. I want to thank Bishop Troy Dockery, wonderful man. And their church came on board as for this walk, which is wonderful. Awesome. And I haven't had a chance to talk to him. So
awesome. So if someone's watching or listening and they can't attend the walk, how else can they help you? What do you need from the community besides monetary donations? Are there office supplies that can help you? Do you need volunteers?
Well, volunteering at the clinics is quite a commitment. One of the things that I found is a lot of people want to volunteer, but they simply don't have the time to make the commitment. When you volunteer there as a client advocate or as a receptionist, which we really need, they need receptionists up in Lodi. We need people down in Stockton. That's an unpaid position. It's a volunteer. I have amazing volunteers, And Lodi has amazing volunteers. There's a nurse in Lodi that volunteers every week 8 hours.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
We ask for
That's
4
huge.
hours. Yeah, that's huge. And we ask for 4 hours, but it's a commitment. If you're going to have any contact with the clients, you have to go to a Bible study called Equipped to Serve for like 8 weeks. And that another one is starting up in September. And then if you've ever had an abortion and you haven't been through a Saved and Set Free, which is another Bible study that goes for, I believe, 10 weeks, that's something you need to go through. And, of course, we have to make dates for those. There's one coming up now. And there's also one-on-one post-abortion counseling. And we urge everyone who's ever gone through that an abortion to get that class, to go to that class, because it really can make a difference. You can be set free from the guilt and set free from the pain of abortion. And every church I speak at, if you have, it's 1 in 3 women in their lifetime will have an abortion. 44%.
That's a huge number of women.
It's the most common procedure done in the United States.
Wow.
And
that's
so
shocking.
It is, and it's borne out to be true everywhere I've gone. And the smaller churches, you're more likely to get people come up. But I know that at one place there were 9 women, and of 9 women, 3 admitted to having had an abortion, and that's a third, 3 out of 9.
Wow.
So, and it's pretty much borne out that way. So you have to be very careful when you talk about it, because there's a lot of pain there, and you have to be very careful to let them know that there's no condemnation. There's no, nobody's going to beat them up or say anything bad. It's really, we love them. We want to help them. And that's what that's where our heart is.
And let's go back and let's talk about you personally. What drew you, what interested you when this position came up? And what keeps you, this is obviously very difficult, challenging work, and it's a struggle to fund the facility and be able to have it grow. What motivates you every day to keep doing what you're doing?
Well, I worked for a pregnancy center in New York, and that's how I got started in it. And I also had a lot of friends. A girlfriend of mine had 2 abortions back to back, and she was never able to have children.
Wow. And
a couple of friends have gone through it, and so I know how difficult it is. I know that it's very, and for years, I was a hairdresser in my other lifetime, and I had many women come to me. This is before I ever got involved in, the pregnancy centers or anything like that. They didn't even really exist back in the day, and just the pain pouring out of these women that then they tell their hairdresser things. People tell their hairdresser things, and so that kind of really, babies and dogs. Those are my 2 loves. And my husband, of course. So.
And how do you keep up your motivation to keep doing what you're doing every day? Keep grinding forward.
Well, I have to say that my husband is probably the wind beneath my wings. When I go home frustrated and despondent, he's my cheerleader, and he's great. And the Lord, that's obviously, I do a lot of praying, and I do a lot of seeking God's will, because if I didn't have that, I don't know how I would get up in the morning. I mean, you're everywhere, and you work so hard. You know what that's like. You have a wonderful husband.
Yes.
Julie's
Who's the past CEO of GCRM, and her husband is the current awesome, amazing CEO.
So we're kind of like
GCRM.
sisters,
Yes.
Like sisters of like sisters of the, what is
GCRM.
Yes, something.
We can form our own club.
We can. That's right.
And I always admire Wayne so much, because Bill set a foundation, but Wayne has really taken off and expanded things and just given new life to GCRM, and is just constantly expanding and improving to outreach and help more people.
Well, there's a season to everything, and his past in all the jobs he had helped bring him into a time such as this for the needs that the Gospel Center Rescue Mission had. And one person does one thing, and another person, hand off the baton. And he was Bill was ready to hand off the baton.
Definitely.
I mean, he tried to do it
Definitely ready.
earlier and it didn't work out. And
25 years is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time to stay in there and do that. And you can tell how loved
Also
he
very
is.
tiring work.
Yeah. But you
Crazy
can tell how
tiring.
loved he is. Every time we have a graduation at Gospel Center Rescue Mission and Wayne announces him, the crowd erupts, you know,
awesome.
as the CEO.
Emeritus.
Yeah. Yes. So that's
It's
great.
perfect.
Yes. So I just want to encourage everybody listening to please come out to the walk on Saturday at 8 o'clock. You can come a little bit earlier if you want. We're going to be setting up a bunch of tables. I'm going to be there at 6 in the morning to set up the race, and all the employees are coming down and they're bringing a couple of trucks. It's quite the job to set it all up and tear it all down, but it's all done between 8 and 11. So then you do that and you have the rest of your day. Yeah, and it should be a lot of fun. And I really want this to be a successful, happy, fun time for our first one. And so it's exciting.
You get your exercise in. If any of our viewers or listeners have baby items that are new or gently used, can they bring that to donate to you?
Well, what I'd like to see is right now we are looking at, we give layettes to, and there's about $130 worth of stuff in a layette. It's a basket. My lovely volunteers put it together, and it's got blankets and bottles, and we're a little low on layette material. So if they wanted to give us a call, a lot of the churches and families and women's groups will have like a baby shower for Jesus or just a baby shower, and people will bring new items. We like to give the women who get the layettes the newer items. So we're kind of running out. Those are for new 0 to 3
months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're running short on some blankets. The ladies over at First Baptist, they make these beautiful quilts and they make these lovely blankets and they give them to us. We're running a little bit low on stuff like that. And just we need to have pretty much almost brand new cribs. They have to be given to us before, they have to be built after 2013, I think, because they've changed. The drop side's no longer, you can't do a drop side crib, and the slats are closer together. They've changed the way cribs are built because of the SIDS, sudden infant death, and they're, rethinking. Babies are now wrapped in swaddles. My son just had a baby, and I don't know if they're still swaddling her now. She's almost 6 months, but they swaddled her for quite some time because that's the recommendation. So swaddling cloths and cribs, and we always need new car seats. We cannot give out car seats that are used at all. And strollers, we don't get hardly any strollers. When we get them in, if they're used, that's fine, as long as they're not broken, and the ladies clean them up so beautifully. But those are a lot of the things that women are requesting because they're the larger items and they can't really afford them. And oftentimes we have one-time emergencies where women call us up. Not too long ago, we had a woman call and say she was getting a foster baby, and she was getting him in like 4 days. And she had nothing.
Oh, wow.
So she came to us, and we just loaded her up with the stuff she needed to get her through. But we didn't have a crib to give her. So, I don't know. When my brother came home 40 years ago, my parents put him in the bottom of the drawer. Pulled the drawer out. Because my other brother wasn't out of the crib yet. I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore. Hey.
Are those items that you just mentioned listed on your website or your Facebook page?
I believe someone has listed them, but I'm not sure. We just kind of started talking about that.
Okay.
And we used to take used car seats. We can't do it anymore. We used to take, a lot of things that we can no longer take. And that's because we are a medical clinic now. We were a pregnancy help center. We didn't have the medical down here, but it's changed. Everything has changed. We're very HIPAA compliant. We're very regulations, rules. We have to be very strict about that. So, if they wanted to ask any questions, they could give us a call and ask. But oftentimes, I will send things on to other places. We have referrals if we can't take them. So we'll send things on to other places.
Awesome. And let's just review your information. Your website, phone number, address. Are you on Facebook? Are you on other social media entities?
We are on Facebook, yes, and I believe all the fundraisers are on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page. Wonderful IT gentleman that helps us out, Thomas Mitchell. He also works at the Gospel Center Rescue Mission. He is now our IT, and he is working on integrating the Pregnancy Help Center and the Lodi Center and the Facebook and the Twitter and all that. And it's
wonderful.
We have trying to put all of that together. There's 2 different domain names. That's way beyond my pay grade or beginning to understand. My brain does not comprehend. That's why you hire these people that know what they're doing. So that's kind of happening right now. And so I'm sure a lot of that is on there, but I'm not absolutely certain. He's getting it there. He just had to get some paperwork going so he could get in there and do all that stuff.
All right.
So he's going to we'll have a beautiful website all put together.
Yay!
And we'll be, I know the ladies are doing a lot of the Twitter and Facebook and
Great.
stuff like that. So.
And what's your current web address?
The web address is DMC for women, and that's spelled out DMCFORWOMEN.org. And there's a donate button, and there's at Facebook, there's a donate button.
Great.
And it has all our activities and so forth. And our phone number is 933-9131. And you can call anytime, Monday through Friday, and someone will answer.
Awesome. And your street address?
Right now we're at 829 Rosemary Lane.
Awesome.
In Stockton.
Awesome.
And we're up on Pine Street in Lodi.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And one thing in the list of needs that I didn't hear you mention, and we talked earlier about modules, but what about books? What about books for women to help them on what to do when you're expecting, such a common book, or books for little kids?
Well, that's interesting. You should ask about books for little kids. We have a bunch of books that were donated from the Barnes & Noble. There was a fundraiser there. A local school last year had a fundraiser. And the books that the ladies, what we use is we use a curriculum, a specific curriculum, and we're always looking to upgrade that curriculum. So there again, if someone were to say, I want to help out with that, they could make a donation and we could put it towards curriculum. I personally ask people if they can help it to not specify what their donation should go to, because at any given time, if somebody says I'm going to give X amount of dollars, but you can only spend it on curriculum, then it has to wait and sit in a pot for a while until we need that curriculum item or until we expand to have. Otherwise, if somebody really wants their to pick up the tab on the new curriculum or give money towards the curriculum, I'm sure that can definitely be, the donor is king, whatever they want.
Yeah. And otherwise, if they don't designate their donation, then you can put that money to the most immediate need that you
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is great because you're helping someone as soon as possible.
That's right. That's right. We have a mobile unit right now that needs to be rewrapped, and it needs to be put on the road. It needs to be rewrapped to say Directions Medical Clinic, because we have 2 mobile units that are to 2 different entities, which is, we're using it, but it needs to be rewrapped, and we're going to possibly sell one. We don't know. These are all just the growing pains, to be able to do these things. It's decisions that need to be made and moving forward. And we've been doing that steadily and surely under Paula's leadership. She's a very good leader. Knows what she's doing. She's been in the CEO, she was the executive director for 11 years, and they've been medical for a long time, so she has a great deal of knowledge about that, and I'm proud to call her my boss.
Yay. And how much time do you think it would take for you to be open the same number of days as the Lodi Center?
Well, we would have to move out of that building because the building we're in right now cannot have a medical license on it. There's no bathroom inside the building, which is why. So I believe it will probably take, unless I get a grant for $100,000 or, a large donation, a much larger yearly budget, which would take a lot more people coming on board as donors and churches. It will probably take a while. It'll be a little while.
5 years. Maybe 5 years.
No, I don't think God's going to make us wait 5 years.
Okay, good.
I'm hoping we'll be in the other building by next year this time. That's
Wonderful.
my prayer. And we've already expanded to, we're looking at expanding to 2 medical days next year, but or next month, July. But that means the medical mobile unit has to come for 2 days. We need drivers, and we need the nurses, which now we're, juggling nurses between Lodi and Stockton. And it's been working,
So if there's a paraprofessional listening that wants to volunteer or a driver, how do they reach you?
They would call me at that number. And then I would
Say
put
the
them, it's 933-9131. Yeah, you're good at this. So, yeah, they could call and talk to us, and we could send them and chat about it. Because, again, it is a commitment in time, and there's a few things, paperwork and so forth, that you have to do. And there's training, so...
Awesome. And it's so exciting to hear all the new and amazing things. And I hope the walk is hugely successful. I know it's your first one and you're so excited. And it sounds like there's a whole team of people that are just prepared to make this an amazing event. Anything else that you'd like to touch on that we haven't talked about?
I just like to say thank you to all the ladies that are the staff and the volunteers, because they're amazing. The staff in Lodi has taken on 2 centers, two payrolls, we're having 2 walks instead of 1. Now, normally with the same amount
Double
of
the
people,
trouble.
they've got, and they're just working so hard, and they want this to succeed so much.
Awesome.
And it's not easy. It's not easy for any of them. I mean, I'll go up there. They're up there till late. They're staying late, coming in early. One of the young ladies came down to Stockton on her time, and because she knows how to do it, she was here anyways. But she went over to Quail and she did this mapping out and of the walk. And I mean, there's a lot of work to be done that I probably would not be that good at. And she did that because she loves what we do.
That's
and
awesome.
She's committed. They're all committed. It's not a job to them. It's a calling. And so it's been amazing to work with them.
Well,
really.
And when Paula has been here, I know that she shared that prior to your organization that Stockton really needed the help, and they just weren't equipped to do it. And now there's a way to make it happen.
Yes.
And so I know that it's a lot of work on everyone's part, but I think that they feel it's so important that they're happy to guide you however they can.
And because of the dissolution and the rebranding, we were able to hire an office manager, and her name is Heather. And right now, I'm just going to shout out to her because she's wonderful.
Awesome.
And she is up at UC Davis. Asked for prayers for her daughter. She's having a procedure done, and she's a great addition to the team. She was trained up. They trained her up in Lodi, and she's been down here working really well with all the volunteers, and just committed. Another really committed employee. Really love her.
Right. And to me, and I say this to people all over, that everyone can make a difference, and find things that you're passionate about and spend your effort there, and you'll be happy. It's no longer work when it's something that really, really matters to you. And it doesn't matter how big or small, you can change lives in people, animals, what have you, everywhere.
Yes. I know that just from some of the women that have come through our doors and been clients. We had a young woman not too long ago, and she's in our newsletter, and she came in, and I want to read this. She did her testimony basically on how she kept her baby. She said, I came to Directions Medical Clinic because I was pregnant by rape and wanted an abortion. I was feeling sad, depressed, and lonely. I found out that I could come to DMC for help. The staff was very nice and helpful. When I came in, the lady sat down with me and explained all my options. She listened to me, gave me the courage to decide that I was given this baby for a reason. The support and care of DMC has helped me throughout my pregnancy and the birth of my son. I am very thankful for the support and love of everyone at DMC. And you notice it gave her the courage to decide that she was given her son. That was her decision. And I personally spoke with her, and she
Wow.
really had
That's
no
powerful.
idea what her choices were, and she did not know what to do, and she was kind of really all alone, and the doctors were urging her to go ahead and have the abortion because there was issues, and she was very afraid. And so the baby's doing well, and
Wow. That's
yeah,
powerful.
yeah. And there's a lot of stories like that, a lot of them. And then there's the stories of the women who went ahead and had the abortion and come back for counseling, and that's painful to hear too. They made their decision, and they came in and talked to us, and they knew what they were doing, and they still felt that they needed to go for an abortion, and we were there for them afterwards.
And you support everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's huge. We need that in our community for this and for other things.
Yeah.
To me, if people have a sounding board, that can go a long way to helping people through anything.
Just making good decisions, really. We all need help making good decisions. We all need mentors. We all need people we can talk to when we have problems and that we can trust. It's going to be private.
Yes.
It's going to be, not something that it's going to go out in the community. It's private. We're very big on privacy, very big on, making sure in your doctor's office all names are covered up, and very HIPAA, very medical about the whole thing.
And I'm glad you said that, because I'm sure that that's a concern that people have when they're
Absolutely.
coming to you.
Yes.
And I just admire you so much, and I just want to thank you for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, and with that, I'm going to sign off. I am the voice of San Joaquin. You are the voice of San Joaquin. We are the voice of San Joaquin. Let's make it a great day.